Woo! It's go time, boys. Let's start the show. Fuck no. You think that just because you did one little promo video, you about to go and hop on my shit? Nah, Playboy. Wait till Sunday, then show me you can do something. Get the fuck out my video. I'm keeping the intro in. Let's go ahead and do the proper review. It's the Big Sheeta Doria, babies. Let's do it. It's good to be back. Sorry about the interruption. New employee, very enthusiastic to get to work, but we ain't doing that today. Oh, you. Come on. Give it up. What you want? Give me the fucking beer, bitch. Yeah. Suck an egg. Oh. Not bad. So, tonight, we do what we do every Wednesday, babies. I'm talking like them. We do what we do every Wednesday, and that's going to record tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Very exciting, very good. Where do we go from last week? Well, we're on the road to all out. So, let's get this thing on the cracking. Because tonight starts off with a very surprising opener. It's the TNT Championship title match. But to continue this week is Eddie Kingston. Now, people don't know Eddie Kingston. I'm not about to go into a full spec. I'll leave that for dumb nuts over here to do. Eddie Kingston, he's an NWA player. He ain't a wrestler. He's a brawler. Like him and his boys in LAX went to wars with Santino Ortiz and Impact. Check it out on your own. Just letting you know. But this man comes out with a dope little opener basically saying, Cody, I'm tired of hearing you talking about grinding, having to come up and struggling when you've been around former legends. Going on to basically not only call Cody a bitch, but also warn Arn that if you keep looking at me with the murder ones, them daggers, like, son, Eddie is such a fucking such a great fresh breath there because he's really rough. He's a fucking bruiser. He comes to fuck you up. He doesn't care who you are. And you can tell in that match because he basically gets it to be a DQ match, right? Doesn't even wait for the bell to ring. He just goes right at it. He's brawling. He ain't wrestling. He's brawling. Nigga, he from the streets. He chunks hands. And Cody, he thinks that, his wrestling's gonna do it. Nah. This dude's wrestling tough from the streets, from the slums. You gotta do better. Luckily, a knee injury on Kingston basically led to opening for Cody, but Lord, did he get a fucking beating, because even with that hurt leg, Eddie is still chopping, punching, just abusing Cody. And he won't go down, even with his leg fucked up. And honestly, I hope this means that we can get more work together with the NWA and AEW, maybe even MLW, because we're gonna start needing these type of partnerships coming up soon. That's for a later date. But at the end of the day, after getting body slammed in the thumbtacks, Cody comes out with the dubs. It wasn't even gonna be a question. But definitely is a great showing. I'm actually excited to see who the fuck is gonna pop up next. Damn, that's a good brew. We gotta review this so I can't be getting litty. We got John Moxley being shown in to give his own little promo on his victory last week at Fyter Fest, where he basically, says, hey, I did what I said I was gonna do, and even though I didn't get the satisfaction I want, Taz, you a smart man, and I commend you for it. Moxley basically he's on the shit. I'm down with it, for real. Just Mox doing what Mox does, and we got to get ready and keep it moving. Because following that, we have MJF versus Griff Garrison. Now, there's a running joke in AEW BT universe about Griff Garrison basically being mistaken for being Jungle Boy. As it said, whenever MJF comes out to, you know, be MJF. Cocky heel on top of the world, unbeatable, unpinned, unsubmitted. But something was different about this, because once Griff reminded everybody that you lost a tag match, MJF, we didn't get the regular cocky MJF. We didn't get the MJF that, you know, is smart. We got a brutal fucking MJF. I mean, Mans did not ease up off the gas pedals at all. Like, from the beginning of the match up to end, it was basically complete and total abuse. And in between, MJF got the mic just to make sure that Griff, say I didn't get pinned, say I'm undefeated. And Griff, by all means, you got some babyface love on this one. You got babyface points for real. Whenever you tried not to give him what he wants, but MJF was a man on a mission. You was not gonna not admit that this man is undefeated. I like this. Now I'm more or less tired of squash matches, but this wasn't your regular squash match. This was a infuriated MJF. This is an MJF that's pure rage, not really thinking, just raw emotion, and showing major insecurity about the fact that he has been beaten, that somebody was better than him. I'm curious to see how this is going to go in the future. Could this lead to a downfall? Because MJF has had an impressive streak up to this point. He has one of the best records in AEW outside of the Elite. I'm digging it. I really am. I like seeing this weakness in MJF. So following that assault, we have a Brit Baker segment. And Brit Baker still manages to be one of the best things for the women's division in AEW. They show us some footage of her going into surgery from getting her nose injured last week, although I'm quite certain that's from her first run. Smart move to basically still have that footage on file and then basically using it now, because I'm assuming they didn't really use it much the first time around. But either way it goes, I dug it. Good shit. Next, we go into Brit Baker having her own little segment as she basically addresses the AEW audience, basically saying not only that, even though she was damaged, she still will remain the role model, giving us more of her role model rules, and basically giving us a signal of when she will most likely be returning back into in-ring action. This was the first I'm hearing it in some time, but basically it's going to be going for All Out. So All Out will look to be the next pay-per-view, pay-per-view from AEW. I definitely can expect to see a small crowd. So at least we'll have, that to go along with it. And I'm pretty sure we know who she's going to go up against, because they're building the fuck out of this feud before she probably goes on the tear through the women's division. But we don't talk about that in a minute. As we go into our next segment, Taz comes into the ring with Brian Cage and basically comes on to express that, after a lot of yelling and screaming and me almost losing my job as the Machine's manager, cooler heads prevailed, and he came to understand that, what I did for you, because why would you want to go back on the shelf for 6 months? And yes, Moxley, and there was a lot of Moxley praising. This was definitely a boost, giving more credibility to Moxley. That was a beautiful submission that you played in, that you was a man with a plan, and you hurt the Machine. You did the unthinkable. But know that he had that injury one time with a torn bicep or torn pec. I had it only once. I refused to let the machine have it twice, as Taz pointed out. So Taz basically showing that he is looking out for his client's best interest, which I am definitely enjoying. It is logical. It makes sense. And, now we got to get ready for Cage going to tear. But while this is going on, Darby Allin comes out to confront Brian Cage and Taz because they got beef. But if you watch AEW Dark, y'all need to watch Dark. There will be a Dark review this weekend. I might let Dynamite handle that. Maybe. But yeah, yesterday on Dynamite, Darby was attacked by Brian Cage, and we also learned that Ricky Starks is under Taz's management now, as seen tonight. Whenever again, Darby got sideswiped by Ricky, who him and Taz was ready to lay the beat down before Moxley came to his aid, which basically led to something going on next week. You'll know soon. Because before we get to that, we got to talk about this major announcement. There is going to be a AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament. Now then, what I'm definitely digging this. I'm liking this because not only are we having talks and rumbles about Impact bringing back their knockouts, possibly bring back their knockouts tag team titles because they have an abundance of women talent. AEW is about to start having a women's tag team tournament, maybe for their women's tag belts. I'm not quite sure if they should have that, but this definitely does help give the other women something to do. The problem that I feel with the women's division is because of the fact that even though Kenny Omega might be the one still running creative for the AEW women's division, there's no person dedicated to it. And Kenny is still having to get his own, having to basically set up the breakup between him and Hangman, as well as probably help booking other storylines going on. Or I'm probably not even so much, but still, like it's a lot. But tonight was giving me a little hope for AEW women's division. But then also this tournament has me excited. Now we can really see the wealth of AEW's women's division because they have taken on a lot of new talent, lower indie girls that are coming in. There's Abaddon still. There's the girl that Abaddon basically was watching her first night in the company, which was hilarious as fuck. There are the Women of Dark, which we never see, which if you don't watch Dark, you don't know, which is why everybody, is really talking so low of AEW women's division. You have to watch AEW Dark. You just got to. Following that announcement, we have a Jericho interview where basically he's still wearing the orange juice stained blazer or jacket that he got covered in orange juice last week by Orange Cassidy, which is hilarious to me. But basically, he's putting Orange on notice, and then basically this is what set up the main event match of Jurassic Express versus Jericho and Hagar. Cool. Moving on. Because next we go into one of the more fun matches of the night that I enjoyed. It's the Butcher and the Blade versus the Young Bucks in a Falls Count Anywhere. And the Bucks don't even let this get to start in the ring. They go searching for the Butcher and the Blade, who, oddly enough, are in the kitchen hacking up meat. Hey, it's a shtick. I can dig it. I'm fine with them sticking to it. But my question is, do they handle catering, and how good is their cooking? Whatever the case is, this match is fun. It's not the wildest match, but it's just fun. So, what we have is, the Bucks and them starting up in the kitchen. Matt is chunking meat at the fucking Butcher and Blade because why the fuck not? We're having usual location brawl spots. You see the ones you've seen a couple times. Then they go from the kitchen, transitioning into, I guess, the loading area, where the fight goes to one of the trucks, and inside the truck, I shit you not, there's a sign that says Mud Show on it, harkening back to the fact that Jim Cornette most popularly calls a lot of this Buck stuff a la Mud Show shit. It's funny, it's hilarious. I live for this. But we get a brief reprieve where the Bucks are basically... there's a good chunk of back and forth. Now, the Butcher and the Blade, they've actually come up, and they have been, seen as a more serious tag team. They're not just here in their basically job, because they can fuck some shit up. They're actually pretty good as a duo, and you know, them being bigger guys, they have their moments of strong stuff, but your element in a falls count anywhere match, because like at one point they tried riding the car into the Bucks into a pillar, but basically fucked that up. They get thwacked with everything, like a ridiculous amount of trays just laying all over the fucking place. Then the Blade gets super kicked up an escalator before the commercial. I think before the commercial break, whatever. That was fucking hilarious. And then once they make it back to the ringside, that's when things starts trickling down, and they're doing their usual spot stuff. We got some tables here. The Butcher getting the Blade went up the escalator. The Butcher getting a fucking chair chunked at his fucking face. Matt is bleeding the hard way from either the mouth or the nose. I'm assuming the nose. Jesus Christ, a lot of nose damage in this promotion. The Butcher and the Blade basically, mounting comebacks and looking decent, while the Blade himself overshoots and somehow misses a table that was set the fuck up for him. I don't know how he missed it, but he did. It was so fucking hilarious. After incapacitating the Bucks, the Butcher and the Blade try and receive 2 tables from the entryways. I guess they had that pre-set up, but what's the point when you don't start there? And as the Bucks do what the teams are fighting, the Bucks basically do what the Bucks do. Super kick, super kick, super kick. Lay them out on the tables. Hey, you ready? You ready? Bam, bam. Dual table spots, pin them 1, 2, 3, that's it. That was a fun match. That was a fun match. It did the job. I knew that the Bucks were going to win. We knew this. It's not a question. The Butcher and the Blade, alongside the Lucha Brothers, got their win on the Bucks and FTR. You're not about to beat the Bucks in this fucking match, but you did entertain me enough. So kudos to you. Following that, we catch up with Alex Marvez as he goes to talk with Lance Archer and Jake Roberts, and boy, oh boy. Either Lance is pissed off or he's anxious as fuck trying to get back in the ring. Whatever the fuck the case is, this man has a short fucking fuse. Because he promptly grabs Marvez, drags him to the locker room. You find about 3 or 4 jobber guys, and he fucks them up. I mean, literally, this motherfucker picks the motherfucker up, chunks him in the air. I'm not lying. He damages the roof and everything. Lord have mercy for he who has to be in that motherfucker's way. Everybody gonna die. Now we go into the women's match of the night, which is the only women's match on the card. But hey, we still got shit to work with. So I'm not even gonna hold it against them. Not everybody can be Impact's Knockouts division or AEW or WWE's current female main eventers or wealth of talent that they've had. Look, AEW. We know that AEW doesn't have the best women's division, but they are trying. The point has to be get a champion that people can get behind. That's cool. Give them matches that people can want to watch. They're working on it. Now they have to basically get everybody knowing that they don't just have a small handful of women. They need to get their women seen. Which, if you don't watch Dark, hopefully the tournament will do. We have Eva Lee's going up against Diamante. Two pretty big names on the indies. Eva Lee's I've seen for years. She has put in fucking work. I mean, you want to know how she's earned her fucking stripes. Check her out in Lucha Underground. She ain't no joke. And this was a very interesting match because it was the striker versus the grappler. Already good. Eva Lee's, nobody wants to fucking do a lockup because Eva Lee comes out swinging immediately, and you know what? I'm just like, do what you do, babe. But the back and forth goes in because I believe that Eva Lee's the more experienced of the two. But Diamante ain't no slouch, and she worked on her grappling craft, which definitely was good. It was a lot of good back and forth, honestly. Not to mention, low key, it was Puerto Rico versus Cuba, and I'm just like, hey, Latinas. They running the thing. I'm just saying, we done seen ample from the Joshis. Love the Joshis. I would like to see more Latina representation. I need my dark girls to come up, but you know what? I got Big Swole. I got Nala Rose. She's half Indian, half black. Love you, boo. And now we got MJ Jenkins and Roche Chanel. You know what? That's for another time. But no, this match was actually good. And Diamante wins with the surprise roll up. A whole lot of surprise roll because it really was like it wasn't even one of those predictable ones. It's just like it was off of a fucking off of a oh god. It was like from running the ropes. That's it. I can't remember the term. I'm trash. Forgive me. Whatever. So following that women's match, we have a singles match between Allen 5 Angels and Hangman Page. It goes about as much as you'd expect, with a bit more offense on Angel's side because Hangman basically controls the first half until Five's Dark Order allies show up and then give them, I guess, a boost in strength or courage or assurance of himself, because that's when he starts to take over and starts fucking shit up. Not bad, but it's not enough to secure him a win. Hangman wins it with a hell of a finish up. I can't quite describe it. It wasn't a buckshot, but it was nice. Anyway, afterwards, Mr. Brother Lee comes along with Colt Cabana by his side, asking, you know, do you want to join the Dark Order? Essentially. And the running gag that's been going on BET basically with the fact that they're a cult. And he basically says, I don't want to join your cult, leading to him getting jumped by the Dark Order. Until FTR comes in, helps him out, and gives him a beer, beating out Kenny Omega by a good 30-ish seconds, which basically is us planting the seeds for the eventual breakup between Hangman and Kenny, and also, I believe, the return of the Cleaner. It's already in the process. I can't wait for it. I'm excited. But following that, there are announcements made for next week's episode, which looks to be really good, as the trend has been, where we're going to have a tag team championship title match between Hangman and Page versus Uno and Stu Grayson. That looks to be a good match. The champs versus the #1 contenders. It's been looming. It's about time that the Dark Order gets paid to do, because they have been doing a good job, either dropping the standings or whatever. Also, we're going to have a... Sorry, baby. Heartburn. Following that, we're going to have... it's also been announced we're going to have Sheeta versus Diamante, which I guess was the purpose for the whole women's match tonight. It was a good match, very interesting. I'm quite curious to see. I hope that this turns out to be a good women's championship match, because AEW has to step up. In it, Impact has basically set a new standard for women's wrestling, in my opinion. Also, we're gonna have a tornado tag match with Jon Moxley and Darby Allin versus Task Management of Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. That also will be a good effing match. And then what else? Obviously, we're gonna have Code of Defense. So let's go into the final match of the night, our main event. We have Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus versus the Inner Circles, Jericho and Hagar. And this was a damn good match, honestly. But it was just a reformation to remind us that the Inner Circle is not to be trifled with, because for the most part, the ring work that Hagar and Jericho used multiple times to isolate both members of Jurassic Express to keep them away was excellent. It started out good with Jericho basically getting a sucker punch in, only for Jungle Boy to basically start, put in work. But when Jericho gets tired of it and he starts to go on, which at this point he is, we get the big man in, we get your traditional big man fight. Hagar and Lucha are basically pretty even. But unfortunately, they get to working on Luchasaurus' leg pretty fucking early. Ugh, fucking sucks. And they were ruthless targeted. Honestly, it was enough to make the FTR proud. Sorry about that. And then Jungle Boy does come in with the hot tag, but even he gets shut down fairly quickly and repeatedly. For the majority of the point, they are the Inner Circle is looking like a damn good tag team, and it makes sense. I mean, Luchasaurus had experience, but neither him and Jungle Boy match up to the level of experience that goes along with having Jake Hagar and Chris Jericho, 2 world champions, earnestly, and it made sense. And they did the smart, but honestly, this was a really good fucking match, all in all things considered. But this is all Inner Circle. I can't lie. I also want to address the Marco problem. Now, to end this match, there was no interference until Marco started it. Now, Marco being there in his corner, that's fine, but Marco jumps in a little too fucking much. Now, this is going to have to be addressed. I've never really had an issue with it until I started noticing it, that this makes Jurassic Express a bit more heelish than it does make them babyface. Now, granted, the people like Marco Stunt, they still will view them as the babyface team, but they're pulling some heel shtick with Marco constantly intervening. Luchasaurus got to crack down on that real quick. But it opened up the door for fucking Santana Ortiz to just go in whenever the fuck they needed to fuck shit up. Again, I'd say 75% of this match was in circle, just running rush out and being in control. It couldn't be helped, and they got the win at the end of the day. But with intervention from Serpentico. Serpentico was a luchador. He's from down south. Interesting, cruiserweight type mascot. This wasn't Serpentico. It was Sammy fucking Guevara. He made his glorious return. And I'm like, Jesus. Now, I'm glad to see Sammy's back. I'm glad to know Sammy's not fired from the company. Jimmy Havoc, I can't say the same for you, mate. It look a bit problematic. But, you know, go save the queen, all that good shit. Pip, pip, cheerio. You win some, you lose some. But, whilst after the post-match beatdown was commencing, out comes Orange Cassidy with the best friends. So now next week we're going to get a 5-on-5. Best friends with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy going up against the Inner Circle. So I think that's going to be nice. I wonder if that's going to be an opener, if that's going to be a mid-show filler. I don't see that being a main event. Fuck no. But all in all, this was great. I actually had a grade for a lot of these matches, which I haven't really done in some time in advance. But the opener was a solid opener. Eddie Kingston fucking was a great shock. I enjoyed what went on in the match. It made sense outside of the excessive outside ring action. But then again, it was no DQ, so it didn't fucking matter anyway. I gave that was a B+ in my opinion. Between the promo, the brawler style, Eddie Kingston showing why he's one of the dirtiest but roughest fighters in wrestling today. It was dope. For MJF's part, I gave his segment also a B+. Definitely shows weaknesses in his character. I wasn't overly fond of it being another squash match for MJF, but this was a whole new side to MJF that we never saw, giving it a nice little pass, and I like planting these seeds. The Falls Count Anywhere tag match with the Bucks. That was a B- to me. I love the Bucks, I really do. But the match itself, it was going to be obvious who was going to win. It wasn't overly outlandish or whack and everything, which was cool, but I honestly didn't feel the need for this to be Falls Count Anywhere. That was a bit much for what this match needed to be. Maybe could have gone hardcore, but there's a lot of hardcore these days, so you know, maybe with that. The women's match, I did enjoy. That got a B+ for me. That match did better than it could. If there was some story really built up to it, I could have been more down for it. Now, there could be story outside of AEW with them on the indies, but there's nothing here, so it's kind of suffers a little bit. The tag match, the singles match between Allen Angels and Hangman 5. It was a really good match, but suffers from the same thing. You know, it's actually no, because I say it probably would have been an average B for me because there was no question of it outside of there being interference. Thank God there wasn't interference. Don't want too much interference in your wrestling. But with the caveat that not only did Hangman get the win, and both parties look good in the match. I like the story building. I like the seed planning. I like us finally probably get ready to probably commit to the breakup angle, which is going to be nice. And then as far as the tag match. Oh, that tag match. I enjoyed it. I felt it was lengthy, as a good main event probably should. You need to give it a good amount of time. The in-ring action was good, and I actually like the focus that this wasn't just some back and forth, because I don't like teams that come off as being back and forth, but can't really get shit going on. Like I don't want to have two teams seeming like fucking great. Like I don't want to see the Jurassic Express holding their own well against the Inner Circle, but not getting the big wins when they need them. You know. So I like that. Jericho and Hagar showing why they are still dominant, and then also this being Sammy's big comeback was a plus to me, and it's all based on, you know, Jericho's own ego behind his jacket. It was phenomenal. It was great. I enjoyed it, and so that's gonna get an A from me. That was AEW tonight. I would definitely say tonight was an above average show, a B plus show. It wasn't everything too great. There weren't nothing really wild for me to go on, but especially considering everything is basically kind of being worked out in the short term, minus the Omega and Page situation. I'm content with things being the way they are. So, please, if you made it this far, I appreciate you for watching the video. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Talk to me, please. And I'm going to go ahead and get with y'all later. It's pretty late, so I'm going to go to sleep. Peace.